popping up. I was oh, you just like that. I was like, yeah.
And then you go on an airplane and like people start playing like airdrop games and they start sending random pictures.
I hear. So what? Now you gotta close it or only for friends?
Yeah,
or?
you can change the settings so that it's like only contacts.
Okay, that makes sense. But you don't have to accept it. I mean, I kind of want to always have it open.
Yeah, you don't have to
my
accept
airdrop.
It. Yeah,
and I just want to see like, okay, who's sending me stuff? Like who?
I don't
who
have
would
to
want
accept it on mine. I feel like when I like, because a lot of what I'll do is I'll take content on my phone and I'll send it to my MacBook so I can quickly edit it, but I don't have to accept it there usually.
Well, I can tell you're an Apple guy. I mean, you know,
I am an Apple guy. So, but are you using a MacBook?
No, I still have a Microsoft Surface
So that's,
Pro,
that's
whatever.
That's the next switch. Once you switch, now that you're on an iPhone, it's only a matter of time before.
Well, when I was there, I went to the Apple Store. I wanted to have the whole experience, so I was literally like filming, like going to the Apple Store, getting it for the first time.
Oh yeah, you blogged it.
Yeah, and I had like my marketing guy was like following me. He's like, "This is momentous. Like I've been telling you for years."
If you like tech, it's a big deal. Like I have a friend who's a big tech guy. And he was an Android guy for a long time, and he finally got his iPhone. and he has money, so he's like, he bought an iPhone, he bought an iPad Mini, an Apple Watch. What are you saying?
People with Androids are broke? Is that what you're saying?
No, but like to get the whole look, the thing with Apple is like the biggest selling point is the ecosystem. So you have the messages, it all like your files, it's all cloud, it's super seamless. But in order to get the benefits of that, like on day one, you kind of need to just like drop 10K. So
that. I was at the Apple Store and I'm selecting like the geekest guy, you know, guy with long hair. He was just like, okay, you're my guy.
I'm gonna be here for a few hours, and I got 10 grand.
Like, listen,
I'm
very opposed to doing this, but you gotta tell me what. He's like, listen, I don't work on commission. He was very cool, very nice. I ended up like signing for his class. And
I've had Android for 10 years, so
yeah, forever.
I need you to use lube, okay? It's like I need you to be gentle with me.
And my marketing guy at the end was like, "Get the iPhone. You know, you need the AirPods. Oh, you know, you gotta get this MacBook like monitor and everything." I was like, "Do you work for the Apple guy? Like, what? You know?"
I mean, it's true. Do you have AirPods now?
No, I have the Google Pixel.
Oh my god,
Buds.
Oh my god, the AirPods. See, that's actually the AirPods are by far the most important piece of the ecosystem. Like,
okay, but mine work too.
No, but yours, the seamless switching though from devices is the best feature ever. Like the fact that AirPods only cost $269 is crazy. If AirPods, it's gonna be ridiculous and I'll catch heat. If AirPods cost like $5,000, I still buy them.
Yeah, that's how important they are. What if you lose one? You have to buy both.
For 3 years, I never lost a single pair of AirPods.
Wow.
And I bought 15 pairs now, and I gift them a lot because I think I know how amazing they are, and I'm like, you're too cheap. Whoever you're, my friend, your cousin, brother, whatever, you're too cheap. I know you won't buy them. Here they are for whatever.
Can you AirTag them? Because he was telling me
no,
like,
you don't. They don't need AirTags.
You need an AirTag. I was like, what is an AirTag? He's like, oh yeah, if you go in traveling, I was like, they really like have everything.
No, you don't need AirTags on AirPods anymore. They're built in. They have built-in AirTags now. They used to not. But the new ones.
Do you have the pros?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. You need the noise. You need the noise canceling, especially.
Well, listen, I'm 1 week, maybe 10 days in with the Apple product, and actually, like, you know, I'm going to a conference. I just came back from a conference, and you know, we're content creators and everybody, and I'm, you know, people are like adding me or sending me a message on Instagram, but the app is different than on the Android, and I'm trying to find things, and I'm fumbling. I look like a newbie.
Take like a few minutes,
and like I'm trying to take a group picture, and instead I turn off the phone, and people are like, "Aren't you a content creator? Don't you know how to take a picture?"
I just got an iPhone for the first time.
I was like, "Listen, it's like muscle memory. It's the opposite side to take a picture versus turning off the phone."
You're gonna be silly for a month, maybe 2.
I'm still not as efficient, and I get frustrated. I'll tell you that like right off the bat, especially me that I'm always posting.
Of course.
Like I just highlighting words, moving it, like, you know, closing windows open. Like I'm just so used to, and it is quite similar, but just before coming here.
It's still a learning curve.
Somebody at the airport saw my backpack, stopped me, and then said, you know, I asked him a question about the Android, because can you airdrop a picture? So they showed me again like how to do it. And then basically, the person said like, this is how you do to switch the camera on the Instagram, because they saw me filming myself walking and then filming the video like on reverse, and they're like, you know, if you if you tap
double
twice,
tap it'll toggle. Yeah.
well,
You didn't. It doesn't work like that on Android.
there's a button and you just press it and it flips it automatically.
Okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't do it on the regular camera. Like if you're filming with your regular iPhone, you can't double tap to get the other angle. It actually just zooms in. So anyways, like,
okay.
I'm still figuring it out, and it's fun.
By the way, on the backpack, is that permanent or do you have to turn it on and off?
It has a cable. So I purchased like the largest battery because it'll die. It comes with, I mean,
so
you buy a battery separately.
It's just permanently on?
Yeah. I mean, I can put it at one. It's through an app. So I can literally take a picture of us and throw it in there and.
You can change?
You can change anything you want, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty sick, actually.
You can put music,
So you could change it to your business logo.
Correct.
Change it to that, your handle.
So it all started like, for fun. Like because I go to these conferences and I would take pictures of people that are not paying attention at the conference. And I was with a friend, my friend and I, he's always been a jokester. I've known him forever. He's like, why don't you just like stand in front of that person, put their picture on their backpack and I'll record their reaction.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And I would, people would like doze off or do whatever. And then I'll put their face on my backpack and then I'll walk in front of them. And
see if they notice.
You can see like a double take and they'll be like, what the?
Do you have any good content of that?
At the beginning, yeah, but I wasn't posting then at that point. Like I was just like going to conferences for fun. Like I just started posting a year and a half ago.
You mean like becoming a content creator posting?
Like
basically?
I was a ghost on social media
a
year and a half ago. I had less than 1,000 followers. Right. And
which is why you're here, because now you have like over 200K on IG and I need to figure out the secret.
Well, maybe some of these things, and I will tell you actually that the videos that kind of pumped me, but it was just for fun. And what really got me moving the needle is that eventually I started going and I started taking pictures with people like Patrick Bet-David.
Okay.
And people who are the guests at these big conferences that you're paying a lot of money.
Right.
But that wasn't the cool thing. The cool thing was that I would then take our picture, put it on the backpack, and then they would see it. They're like, oh my God, my man, that's cool. So then those people would repost it. So people like PBD. And then I started going, you know what? Like, who has like a big following? And I went to a YouTube convention or one of those. I was like for basically content creators only.
Okay.
Most of them were just so big that I probably didn't even know, like TikTokers and different things. Yeah. But I'd take pictures with them and then I put it in my backpack and then they would themselves like repost our picture together. And that's what got me like thousands of followers, like just
really?
Yeah, because people with millions would actually post about me, with the backpack.
0.01%, that's 2K,
and 3K. Yeah, it was very
but it's funny because the backpack goes in line with your brands. Mobile ads,
correct,
and like product placement and all this stuff.
The company's called InMotion. InMotion
I never even thought about that.
InMotion Media Group. So at the beginning of why the name came up is because I knew I wanted to do multiple things, not just the mobile billboards, which are trucks in motion, but I was like, the company should move. It'll grow at some point.
Okay.
And so this came out, I saw the backpack. I bought it, for $399, $400. And I probably made way over six figures.
I'm going to say best investment. It's funny because I just started. So a lot of t-shirts have the standard, I think the term is crest, like left crest, right? Left crest. So it's like, 3 inches by 3 inches. And it feels like normal to wear a logo like that size because it's not that intrusive. But then I was like, you know what? I think I saw Mr. Beast video, which I don't really like his content. I think he's really cool, but I'm not
you're not a teenager.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like people all ages watch it, but I don't watch his content. But I think it was a Mr. Beast video, and I was like, he was wearing, that his logo, like the wolf. I think it's a wolf, the beast, whatever. And it was a full front. They call it full front.
Big.
So I'm like,
obnoxious.
I'm like,
well, see, that's coming back.
But I'm getting. I gotta get this now because.
Yeah.
The point of the story is that. Yeah. What's that? Yeah. So. I was like, no one's fucking looking at the logo on my shirt. And what's the point of getting it printed if no one's looking at it? It's fucking meaningless, right? I spent all this money. I got all these shirts. No one looks at the logo. I'm like, I need to get full front. So I got this.
Nice.
Full front. And,
yeah, you can't miss that.
And it's clean. It's a handshake, whatever. It's nothing fancy, but it's kind of an interesting like terminology, Miami Lawyer Daddy, which is my IG name. But people now, I've had probably 20 conversations about that shirt in the last month.
Yeah, it's the lockup too. So big brands always have the word. So you'll have Miami Lawyer Daddy.
Right.
And then you'll have the handshake.
Right.
Once your brand is big enough, you can remove the letters and the lockup, the signal, the symbol is what, represents you. You got to get to that level.
No, but just, it's funny because I already want to do that because it's like a process, right? So so the way you're wearing, that's what's that brand called? The Clover, whatever?
Yeah, Clover, but Black Clover.
But I already the next hats that I run, when I get like a premium run of hats, the front is going to be just the handshake logo.
That's perfect.
With the stitching and thick and people.
Perfect.
And I'm like, I told my friend, one of the guys that works on the merch stuff, I'm like, I want the hat to look like a minor league baseball team. They're like, yo, that's a really sick hat. Like what baseball team is that? You know how it's cool to wear like a minor league team that no one knows, but the logo's sick, and then it's like a conversation starter. It's like, it's actually not it's not a baseball team, it's my lawyer. It's your lawyer. Who's your lawyer? Like,
it's my law firm.
How cool is that? You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta think about events to hand them out as well, because people go crazy about swag. So my whole background is in experiential marketing.
Okay.
Giving people an experience. People remember an experience over a gift or something.
Whatever the norm is. Yeah.
And once you simulate a brand, like I have this hat 3 times, like I just buy the same hat because it's my colors.
Right.
It's the black with the neon green. And now I put my Instagram on the left.
Yeah, no, I think that's
so
clean.
I put my Instagram on the left, and it's obnoxiously big. It shouldn't be this big, but I want people to see it. In fact, what happened today, like on my way here to the airport, somebody stopped me from the backpack. He's like, "Hey man, I looked you up." He's like, "I'm actually in solar. I moved here. Do you do businesses for digital marketing?" I was like, "Yeah, I scale business. That's what I do." Right. And the kid is doing solar, and he was making $350,000 selling solar.
Yep.
He's like, "I'm gonna start my own company," and poor guy has 60 followers right now. I was like, "Yeah, for sure, I can 100x you of that, most likely. At least 10x for sure."
No, but the logo needs to be like when you get huge. As you get bigger, the logo can get smaller.
That's
when you're
exactly
smaller,
right.
You have to have the logo huge. You have to have no shame.
Well, no, Lululemon, they got like 3 little like lines, I think, right here on the.
Yeah.
You have to know the brand to know it, right? Like you have to know it, and you're absolutely right. Once you get big enough, now Mr. Beast just does it because his brand is obnoxiously loud.
Yeah,
like,
but he's still a small brand in terms of like global scale.
He's the most known YouTuber in the world, though.
But like Coke, Rolex, Pepsi,
so
those are the brands that we're talking about in terms of like global reach.
And for McDonald's or the creepy Monster.
Like 10 more years, he'll be there. But he's not there yet, but he's getting there.
I think he will become the first billionaire content
well, he's already
creator.
A billionaire for sure. I mean, they already offered him $10 billion to buy his enterprise.
But he didn't take it.
No, he said no.
But
no chance.
He will be for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he's got channels that are in multiple languages. Have you seen that?
He has channels with hundreds of millions of followers.
In a different language.
Yeah, that's
in
literally
Japanese.
All they do is they just translate it.
And from what I've heard is that he gets like top actors. So imagine if it was reversed and he's a Japanese YouTuber, but he gets like Leonardo DiCaprio to do his voice in English. Like he gets like the top actors around the world to do his voice. Yeah. So the people in the country recognize him.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I think in Mexico, he's Goku, the Dragon Ball character.
Really? Yeah, that's funny. No, but he's killing it. But so what we connected at a conference, which I think I need to start going to more conferences. And I think that going to conferences is for you, it's amazing because of the experiential marketing. It's like, all right, I have a conference.
Did you stop me because of the backpack?
No, but I stopped you because I knew you were with a client of yours.
That's right.
And then I went up to her and I talked to her. And then you were like, let me talk to you too, blah, blah, blah. But I saw the backpack.
Well, she introduced me. Oh, well, this is my marketing person. Because I think you asked her, like, I've seen your marketing. And she's like, this is my marketing guy.
Right. Yeah. So, but as an experiential marketing person, the events are amazing, not just to meet people, but they're an amazing, like, let's say you go to 12 a year, right? 1 a month. Mm-hmm. If I were you, I'd be like, every single event, I want to try something new out. Because then it's different? Like, I'd be like, okay, like the backpack, like, what did I learn from the last event? Right. So I just started implementing NFC tags.
Okay.
So I have an NFC tag on my keychain, and I have bracelets, and I'm giving them to like my wife, my dad, my mom, so that whenever they talk to anybody, they can just be like tap on my wrist, and then that's my son's Instagram. Follow him, and you can see his stuff. So
that's really cool.
It just reduces the friction. But
that's fat. Yeah, you're a techie
really
guy.
Cool. Yeah. So, but if I was like you and I was like going to an event every month, I'd be like, all right, like, what did I do at the last event? How did it work? What did I learn? And what am I going to do? How am I going to switch it up next month? How am I going to get better? And iterating 12 times a year, you're going to be so progressed down the road. But,
that's the mentality of an entrepreneur who wants to grow the business.
100%.
See, most people be like, oh, if it's working, just keep it. You may not see it, but this is like the LED backpack 2.0. So like this has a lot more high definition than my previous one. Like I know because I've been using it. I know what I can now do on this one versus the other one.
Right.
And it just at this past conference where we were, like I also have a hat, and the hat lights up, and my Instagram comes up across the hat. Actually, my hat is over there.
That's amazing.
You want to give me that real quick?
It has. I want to see this. Yeah.
All right. So that's all right. You can say hi. You can, or you can
just don't knock the camera off.
Yeah. So I'm at the club and I'm dancing and whatever, and I just have my hat, and people and I throw it around, and I start getting like a little crowd in the circle and everything, and then when no one is watching, I just turn on my hat, and my Instagram rolls across the
really
hat.
Cool. That's great.
And so people stop and they're like, that is really cool, man. And so like I start doing, but on this one I can also do whatever. So if people are doing cheers, hey, happy birthday, X, Y, and Z, like I can do whatever. Right. And so the idea is that
I think that the first of all, it's a very cool idea. I love it. I think that the
speed or
the ticker tape aspect, I think makes it, if I were you, I would just have it maximized to the biggest size it can be, and then stationary.
It can be.
It makes it hard to read
the whole thing. Yeah.
I think.
But what I'm trying to do is that, and I've tested both. When it's just once, people like think, and they may not realize that it's an LED hat. And so when there's movement, people do a look back.
It forces them,
and then they wait until they see again what's coming after. Like they pause on my hat for 3 to 5 seconds, and then they'll see Insta Chava. If they just grab the Ava at the end, then they'll wait until it rotates again for Insta Chava, and then like, wait, what is next? Insta. Oh, okay, so it's Insta Chava like on repeat, and I see it on people.
Okay, balance. You could maybe find a middle ground there where you have like a introducing and then it just has your name.
So there's different things that also this hat can do, but
it's really cool.
Yeah, there you go. So I mean, I'm always trying to like, how can I start a conversation?
Right.
Like, oh, where'd you get that hat? Oh, you know what? Like, I do advertising and marketing.
Right.
People usually ask me right off the bat, like, what do you do? Like once they see a hat like that, once they see my backpack, and I go to these conferences, you're with 1,000, 3,000 people, depending on the size of the conference. And how do you stand out? Everywhere is wearing the same fucking lanyard.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing like the suit, whatnot. Like I'm always, wearing the black, something with the green.
You need something to stand out.
So that when they see me, and it's probably what happened just right now at the airport, that the guy just saw my backpack. And then while we were waiting for our luggage, looked me up and he's like, excuse me, is this you? And I say, oh yeah. He's like, do you do advertising? And maybe down the line, that guy becomes a client.
Yeah, you never know.
I know he's got some money to put in.
I'll tell you this: what you do know for sure is
I have a follower.
Is that you whatever money you spend on the item, you're getting your money's worth, like by a factor of like 1,000.
Yeah,
that's what
I mean. You can literally calculate. If I've made over 6 figures, and it cost me $400,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the best ROI you'll ever going to see on anything. Yeah, no.
So that's why I bought a second one. I did a little upgrade.
Yeah,
we tuned it up.
The logos are cleaner. The lights are flashier.
It's better, yeah. So, so going back to like the marketing and how to grow, like you start doing some things that that represent your brand, and at some point you have to differentiate. Like, what do you want? Like, are you trying to get business out of your social media? Meaning, are you trying to funnel through your viewers towards your law firm? Or are you trying to spin off and have you built an amazing, beautiful like studio. what's crazy is that when you and I met, this didn't exist. You and I talked about this.
I told you about it, right?
You had nothing like this. You're like, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about that. And as we've been following each other in the last few months, I can't believe I walked in and it's here. Like I'm in it. You know, I see you working out. I see you doing and I like people that follow through. I like people that say shit and do shit. You know, and I see you
because most people just talk. I mean, that's just life.
Talking is easier.
And in fact, there's science behind it now. Huberman's talking about if you actually want to do something, and if you tell people about it, it actually reduces the chances that you're going to do it. So I actually made a mistake by telling you and a lot of other people that I was doing it. There's a psychological reasoning behind it. I forget. I think I watched the whole video, but I don't remember specifically. But it makes sense because the people.
There's a lot of people cuddle you. It's okay, and a lot of people when you have a big idea, like let me build a podcast studio and let me call it Daddy Media and
right.
People might say no. That's why are you going there? You're a lawyer. Take these things seriously. Like what do you mean you're gonna be doing content and posting? Despite what people say,
yeah.
When you create something like this, and you know, I see the boxes that are outside. I mean, you're still going. You're still in the transition.
Wait till you guys see the behind the scenes of the studio, like in a few days.
Yeah,
we have some crazy custom stuff being built. But to go back to what you're saying, a lot of people and they're still asking me this. I mean, family, friends are like, "Why are you building a studio?" And I'm like, I don't know I feel like Hormozy would have a great answer to this. I don't know if you saw his "Don't Go Home for the Holidays" video yesterday.
No, I have not. I've been traveling.
But like he made it. I only watched like the first half of it because I pretty much know what he's going to say because he said it before. But he basically made a video by like, it's okay not to go home for the holidays. It's okay. But it's kind of similar. People are like, why are you building a podcast studio? And the idea and my answer is just, I kind of like, at first I was answering them and like being like, well, you know, here's what I'm trying to do. And then I'm like, you know what? I think I need to just come up with an answer that is like a courtesy answer where I could just like change the subject because I don't want to explain to, you know, someone who doesn't make content, who's an employee, they're not an entrepreneur. You know, I might like them as a person. They might be a perfectly fine person, but I don't want to talk about why I'm building a podcast studio.
What is your real
with
reason?
Like a guy who's a traffic flight controller for 28 years at the airport. Like, it doesn't benefit me at all to talk to someone like closed-minded.
They're not gonna get it. But so if we dig down to
it hurts
the reason,
me to do it. Yeah,
is it because you want to have a different company or to fund it into your business? And the reason why I go back to that is because that's what's going to depend on how you grow.
Yeah.
When you're asking me, like, I want to know, like, you know, I did this silly videos at the beginning or, you know, not knowing they were going to work. The first video that I remember did tens of thousands of views. It wasn't when I was talking about marketing. It wasn't when I was talking about, you know, concepts, you know, ROI, anything, CPM, stuff that's marketing terms that people would understand. It was when I ordered food at Chipotle.
Yeah, no, it's the stuff that's relatable. And the truth, okay, so the answer to your question, now we're like on the air, we're filming. My answer is I don't know why I created a podcast studio. That's the truth. I just had an urge to do it. And I know that I have like a desire to make content and connect with people. Mm-hmm. I like putting myself out there. Look, I'm not like a superhuman person. I still get uncomfortable when I have to like film sometimes, or I'm like, I have to produce some video that I've been wanting to produce. But I don't have it all mapped out. Like, I'm not like a robot. Like, I have like, oh, I'm going to do these 17 podcasts and then I'm going to do this and then I'm going to pivot to this direction. And no, I just had like this desire to really make an effort to make content, put myself out there. And in the back of my mind, I know that like, if you aren't making content, then you're missing out on a whole world of connections with people that is a big deal. And that's it. That's it. That's the explanation right now.
That's being honest, you know, instead of giving me a bullshit answer. Like, we get to connect. As much as we've talked or chatted or texted, if this podcast didn't exist, you know, we wouldn't be sitting each other right now here.
You wouldn't. So we didn't talk about this. He's on a 5-hour layover. He messaged me last night. He's going to be like, I'm going to be in your area for 5 hours tomorrow, which really is only like 2.5 because you have to go through customs and board and all this bullshit. Yeah. He's like, do you think we could film? And I'm like, fuck yeah, we could film. I know where the airport is. I'll tell you how much time you have when you need to leave, order your food. So he had Uber Eats when he got here. But to go back, you would not have made the effort to come and see me and fucking run across the airport and all this shit and race here and then go sit in more traffic if you didn't know that there was like a really cool opportunity to come and make content with me.
Yeah, and connect. And so the reality is that we were actually at a business conference for the last weekend, and I also just got married 2 weeks ago, so I brought my wife, so it was like a honeymoon, but we sat there through, seminars. She's like, she's like, as long as I don't go through a timeshare, she sits through it, she'd be okay. But no, it was really fun. It was really chill. And it was in Cancun. So it wasn't, it was amazing. Yeah. It was a real estate entrepreneur, social media sort of conference, met a great people. And yes, now we're flying back to Vegas, but I had this 5-hour layover in Miami, and then I have jury duty tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Sick. But do you remember the movie Field of Dreams?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Where Kevin Costner builds the saying. You remember the line from it? If you build it, they will come. And it's a great line, and that's kind of like
that's great.
That's kind of like when people ask me now, maybe, and I just thought of this. When people ask me why I built the studio, I'm gonna just say that. I'm not going to explain anything. I'm going to just say, like Elon Musk on stage, right? The earth will figure it out. I'm going to be like, if you build it, they will come. And they're going to be like, what do you mean? And I'll be like, that's it. That's my answer. Next question.
And mad props if they actually know where where that line is from.
Some will. The right people will definitely know.
It's a great movie. It's a great line.
But it's true. Like
I'm here as a reason, because you have this, and in order for us to connect, and yeah, like it's great. It's great to see someone who's doing the talk.
Yeah.
Walking the talk.
So let's talk about content. What I think that I've watched a lot of your videos, and obviously they're getting you a lot of followers. What do you think is the most important thing? Because I feel like now that I'm getting deeper into the game of content creation and figuring out how to get attention, I feel like a lot of the magic is in post-production. And like editing, the hooks, the ordering of the sequences, the sound effects. Obviously, the whole thing matters, but I know you have an amazing team working on your stuff. So like, do you have like a bigger mindset, or like, how do you describe your concepts on how you're getting, organic traffic to your people's pages and your own page?
So content strategy is important. And you should have outlined at least a few ideas of what you're going to be talking about. This right here is the best way for you to create, and I'll give you some quick tips. When you have a long format, now there's AI websites where you can upload all of it and it'll spit out, I want to say lower level editing.
Okay.
If you just want to spit out as much content, and it'll already edit it and it'll clip for you, and it actually will give you a virality score. Like this conversation, you can upload the whole thing, and it'll clip 10 to 20 videos, and it'll tell you which one has more virality.
So it'll like, do it for you. You can upload an hour-long podcast episode.
You just put the YouTube link on it, come back 20 minutes later.
It'll just give you 20 reels?
Absolutely. With text, with content. Decent? Yes. Wow. You probably seen some of mine. You can tell the difference between
a super amazing human one.
Yeah. Okay. Like you can tell the difference between the ones that are done by, my team. And even within my team, there's different tiers of experience.
Okay.
So when I'm offering like those services to people, I say, okay, how high do you want to go? When I started, it was me, on the selfie camera in my car, it was me talking, using the captions feature on the Instagram.
Right. Then manually typing captions.
No, how like you can swipe up and it'll create your captions. It used to be manual, yeah. And then the actual captions, and then eventually I hired somebody, and they would do the normal text, and I was like, that's really impressive. But it was like white and yellow. Like you can see the progress if you scroll back enough on my own personal Instagram,
right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you can see when it worked. And the reason why we know post-production does, have an impact is because we've taken content from other lawyers and other people
you
that
told
work
me
for
this, yeah.
And then we've reused the exact same footage. We didn't even film it.
Your video editor had this raw.
This is
this is what they got.
You've already posted this.
Give me the raw and let me see what I can do.
Exactly. You already posted this video. You got 1,500 views, 2,000 views. Not bad at all. Let's do it. Boom, 8,000, 9,000.
5x, yeah.
Like incredible. And then we continue doing it. And numbers going from, 8,000 to I think, she's up to like 28,000, 29,000.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But it's continuous. So post-production does work if you want to have good quality like content.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that gets viral it's sad, but it's just the way of the world. It's like, you're not watching stuff in the sequence in which it was said. You're watching the most emphatic, holy shit, oh my God, that's going to be chopped out.
Yeah.
It's going to be moved to the front. Then they're going to chop out another, whatever super exciting, emphatic part of the conversation. They're going to move that to second. And then they're going to slowly like fill in stuff that kind of makes sense. Just like a movie trailer.
Yeah. And
but they've been doing that forever. So
Instagram checks your duration of when people drop from your reels.
Right.
So it also now checks, and I'm not sure if it's for everybody's features, but it tells you how many hours people have watched your videos.
It's telling me now, it'll be like this reel got 40 hours of watch time.
Correct. And so now you know what your audience likes. Right. And if missing content is your piece, then yes, there are, because I've paid a lot of money with Instagram coaches. I spend a lot of money hiring people, going to agencies, like understanding, because at one point I took it seriously, like you took the podcast studio seriously.
Right.
Like you had to invest money to make it happen.
Right.
And so for me, like once I had that investment, I started seeing, okay, what works, what are the hooks? And some of the key takeaways that I've taken from, these expensive seminars or coaches are like, if you're missing content, like meaning amount, not quality, but amount, you can do 10 videos and then just film at the same time, 3 different hooks, and then use 3 different endings. And then you combine those. So it's the same video, but you get like 30 different iterations of the video, and you post them all continuously. Say, because most people are afraid to post the same thing. It's like, no, don't give a shit about. You post the same video 2-3 times, but with 3 different hooks, and you see which one does well. And he's explaining to me, he's like, look at all my videos. This video got, 27,000 views. The exact same video with a different hook got 290,000 views. Like it's crazy. It's just the Instagram.
It's also a snowball effect.
Algorithm picks it.
But yeah. Once you post it and it doesn't get that good of views, and then whatever, the hook doesn't execute, and it just kind of fizzles out, and then it never gets placement. Versus you get the sick hook, it converts. It starts catching fire. People start sharing it. Then more people start sharing it. And then
and that's how it works on the Instagram.
I know.
So 100 people, and then it gets shown, and then it gets shown. If they have a positive reaction, then it gets shown to 1,000 people. If those people have a positive interaction with it, commenting, liking, whatnot, then it gets shown. And this is how videos explode. Yep. And the type of content that explodes is silly stuff. Right.
It's stuff that everybody can relate to. Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's been at Chipotle and fucked up their order, or whatever. Like
you just relate it. Yeah. But it could be something funny, or a lot of videos that pop off are like videos at the airport. Have you seen stuff at the airport? I mean,
I don't know. I probably have seen
where people go crazy at the airport, and they get kicked out and shit.
People want to be like, oh my God.
Or look at that person, and
someone's screaming at the
so someone there's something about human nature that we just want to see what happens, and so you watch it. But this is where I want to kind of get into your idea with the whole business and everything. And when you're doing this, like, do you just want to grow in following and an audience, or do you want to be very niche to your specific likes that you like, so that you can eventually do deals with watches, poker, or things that you are interested in?
I haven't thought about it. Like, if you're asking me where I'm going, no, I think I want to make content that where I'm just being who I am, and getting people who are down with that to follow me and watch more of my content and just see where it goes. That's where I'm at.
Perfect.
Whether or not a lot of it's going to be me doing my fitness journey and like bodybuilding, just because I'm like trying to get super healthy and just get ripped, because that's a big part of who I am now, because I'm on that, like coming back from my back surgery. Then a little bit of it is like entrepreneurship and marketing, because I'm that's one of my hobbies. Watch collecting, you know, a little bit of everything. But
and you're a lawyer on top of that.
And then everybody has like a day job, right? Yeah. So, you know, I'm a dad. I have 2 kids. I'm married. I have a law firm that I operate. Everybody has like their not side hustle, their main hustle, right? Which is my law firm. Mm-hmm. So
their career,
whatever you want to call it. But a lot, and then like content is kind of like my side hustle, even though I have no desire to monetize it specifically at this point in time. It's still kind of like where my extra attention and energy goes to. But everybody can relate to that. Like everybody almost has like their day job, and then they have like their hobbies, right? It's like, okay, so during the day I'm a lawyer, and then, you know, I'm also getting in really good shape, and I'm making content, and I'm a dad, and I'm doing all these things. So I feel like people can relate to that. So
that's a balanced life.
You know, like a guy who's in his 40s, who's maybe like considering, like a lot of what I used to do when I started my own firm after only 2 years of being a lawyer. Wow. So a lot of what I used to do would be my friends who were like, okay, now I have my own firm after 2 years, right? Now my friend who's been 5 years, he's still slaving away as an employee, and he's like, how is it? Like, how is life as an employee, as a firm owner, right? And now it's like, then that guy goes out and makes his own firm after having 15 conversations with me, and like I finally help him like work up the nerve. So a lot of my conversations with my colleagues from like year 2 to year 15 were basically just like consulting my friends and my colleagues about how to go off on your own, because they just wanted to have, but you already have questions and questions and questions, and I just.
But you already have all these years of experience ahead of them, and
I know, but they're just like, what's it like? What's it like? How does this work? How does this work? Do you get scared? I'm like, yeah, you know, whatever. I just give them, and I knew that like it would. I gave all that information away for free, like whatever. But
good, consult them.
But now I'm doing that at scale. You know how good it felt when I would like talk to one of my friends, and let's say I've been on my own practicing law on my own for 3 years, and I have a friend who's 5 years as an employee, and this is like the 7th conversation, right? Because like someone who like wants to go out on their own and they have a friend, they're like, let's go out to dinner, and we just talk about what it's like to be an entrepreneur for the whole dinner, right? And then 6 months later, another dinner, and that's all we talk about the whole time. And then 6 months later, like, so 3 years have gone by now, and every 6 months we've had a dinner or a lunch or whatever, and like all we talk about is what it's like to be on our own. And then finally the guy does it, and he's so happy, and it's like, you know how rewarding that is? It's great for me. And now I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing it like online, right? So I'm like, I get to have thousands of people watch my Instagram videos or my YouTube and be like, okay, like, fuck, I've been watching Brent's videos for years now. I'm not going to be fat anymore. It's the fucking time has come. I'm going to get in shape. Like, he had 3 back surgeries. He was 50 pounds overweight. I've listened to all of his advice.
No excuse.
It's time for me to pull the trigger and do it myself.
See, that's rewarding. And that's amazing. That's where you find,
you
know, the why of this, right? Because by just sitting here with a mic on, you can reach to a person that you've never met.
Yep.
And we couldn't do that otherwise. And you can affect people's lives. And that fat person, he's also a dad, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe you saved him from an early heart attack death or 100%. Something.
Or maybe he has a really toxic boss that he's like super scared to quit. And
because he doesn't trust
himself.
My
videos, and I'm like, look, you can make $80K a year on your own. You can definitely do it. Like, these are the things you need to do. Like, this is when I started my law firm. I had no resources.
But did you quit entirely and then just started your own?
100%. You ever heard the story of my? It was a Friday afternoon. I was supposed to have a trial, and my boss at the time was like, "You're going to try this case." I'm like, "Great," because it's hard to get trial experience. Very hard to get trial experience. Most firms you have to work at for like 20 years before you get to really try a case. Yeah. And you're slaving for 20 years. Like, you are doing grunt work. So I was like, all right, great. I'm going to try a case in my first year. This is like first and a half year. We finally get to the day of court, literally the morning of the trial. I've prepared to be first chair. In trial, you call it first chair and second chair. First chair does the most important stuff. Second chair does like the secondary stuff. And then you have the people in the back who are like support staff.
Okay.
I didn't know if I was going to be first chair or second chair, but as long as I was at the bar, at the bench, so to speak, I was trying the case, right? So the morning of the trial, he's like, you're not sitting at the table. You're sitting in the back. And we had a hearing about something, and he made me like help him. He didn't know anything about the case too, which was crazy. So I had to like basically do the hearing, but he had to say everything. Anyway, long story short, I was like, the trial got continued, so it got delayed. But I found out that I wasn't going to be actually trying the case. So I was like, fuck this. I'm not staying at this job anymore. So.
And you just left.
I just left. Well, I put in my 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks came, and it was Friday afternoon. I left at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever. He sent me home, gave my check. And I'm like, I'm not going to go to sleep tonight until my website is live. And this is in 2011. So the internet's real, but it's nowhere near what it is now. And I just went to Starbucks. I got like a quadruple espresso, whatever. Went back to my apartment, my little studio apartment. It's smaller than this office. And I'm not like a tech. I'm a techie person, but I'm not a coder. And I was like, I'm not going to go to sleep tonight until I have a website on the internet live. And I did it. And it sucked, but I used like built-in Apple website designer.
But is that the same law firm you have now? Or
no. That was like, it's actually technically the same entity, but it's gone through a lot. I've had partners,
like everything.
Partners. Yeah, it's gone through a lot.
Most people don't have what you just described, which is like I just call it the entrepreneur bug. Most people would be with a miserable boss for another 20 years,
of course.
5 years, at the very least 2 more years. Most people don't just go out and move outside their comfort zone.
Yeah.
For an entrepreneur trying to figure things out, you're gonna be wrong a lot of times, and then fear creeps in, and then you start comparing yourself with other people. And the worst is when somebody's younger but then more successful, and then you're like, I'm too late already. The boat has sailed, and then you start having these like negative self-doubts. But I gotta think of myself like, who's saying these things, or how is it moving, and then you move them away, and then once you step into that uncomfortness, that's when like everything happened. Like for me, like it's happened for you. That's why your friends took 3 years and 6 lunches for him to actually move out.
Yeah, everybody has.
Most people need to get nudged.
Yeah, everybody has a different like entrepreneur, like blood or entrepreneur score. Like I've always been like, I was burning CDs in 7th grade and selling them for $10 off Napster. Yes. Like I was like, that's just like, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? Like you hear like these guys, like the people that were just born to like sell shit and just be entrepreneurs. Yeah. I'm like a 9.9, right?
So I used to, you know what a paletero cart is? Like an ice cream cart?
Yeah.
You know, the guys on the street?
I don't know the term paletero, but
well, it just means for like popsicle. Paletero is one of those ice cream cars that,
I used a street food guy.
Yeah. I used to have one of those, and mind you, I graduated with honors, and I had a master's degree, and I'm still in Santa Monica rolling a paletero cart, selling waters for.
Oh, you want to hear a really funny story? You want to hear a really
hustling,
funny? You're not gonna believe this. This is true. So
you bought from me?
No. It's better. Trust me. You're gonna die. So, I'm out. I've already got my own firm, and I'm practicing. I have a small office. I have my own clients. Everything's okay. I mean, I have like, my net worth is probably 10 grand, but I have cases and I represent my clients and I do a good job. Everything's fine. And probably been out 5 or 6 years at this point. Uber comes out, and I'm like, oh, this is a really cool like thing, because I'm a tech guy. Like, I make an Uber account. I start using it. It's so cool. It was like people were like, am I going to get in trouble? I don't know if you remember. How old are you?
39.
Okay, so you're the same age, but I'm 42. But when Uber first came out, it was like not legal. I don't know if you remember. In different markets, it was like, can I get in trouble because they're fighting with the taxi unions?
Right.
Remember,
that is right.
Very early days. It's because I'm an early adopter of everything.
Too,
like
everything.
You could get a ticket as a passenger in an Uber, people were worried they could get in trouble. And I was like, this is a really cool, like taxis suck. Like this is a very cool technology. I want to like know about it. So I started using it a lot. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start getting cases with Ubers. I'm like, I need to be an Uber driver. Not because I'm going to make money off of it, because obviously I'm not.
Yeah,
but
I did it.
I need to know exactly how it works. I need to know, because there's a different app. I need to know how the app works. I need to see the terms of service. I need to know exactly how this is working from behind the scenes. And so I fucking became an Uber driver.
For how long?
And I mean, I think I did 15 rides total, but I did a certain amount of rides and I met people and I was an expert. I knew exactly how it worked. I knew exactly what the user interface looked like. You know, I knew what it was like to be logged in, but looking for a ride, not logged in, or logged in, booked for a ride, but not with the passenger yet, because then it turned out to be fruitful because they had no insurance in the beginning. But then a year later, the Uber driver ran over the little girl in San Francisco, and the whole fucking union, the whole world blew up. And so they had a really good insurance starting like a year later, because the government threatened
for the drivers, like mandatory, right?
And it was like super premium insurance. So the Uber cases, and now you see it, but it's nowhere near what is good. The first 5 years of Uber with insurance, great. Oh my God. If I was smart, because I knew that I was going to get cases, but I was not smart enough to actually put resources into getting the cases. So I put my time in getting them, and I took Ubers and I gave out my cards, and I got maybe 20 Uber cases, which was a lot. And it was amazing. It was really good. But if I was further on my career and I had like someone like you on my team, I would have gotten 2,000 Uber cases and then I'd be retired or whatever. I'd be focusing really only on doing content. But, yeah, so I was an Uber driver.
You did do a driver.
And I got a lot of Uber cases out of it.
It works. And Uber was such an original idea at first.
Yeah.
So sometimes when people ask me what does InMotion Media Group do, I always just say like, because everybody understands Uber, I said, we're like an Uber of advertising. Like we don't own the trucks and we're not the brands. We just pair the two together.
Connect someone with space with someone who wants
exposure. So the truck's already driving. The truck's already doing their deliveries. The truck's already moving into the neighborhoods and, eye level. They're doing deliveries at the groceries, the schools, whatever, hospitals, anywhere. So by being stuck behind, trucks all day long when I was in LA, it just hit me. I was like, that's a blank canvas. Yeah. I bet I could put advertising on that. And my goal was to sell 3 in a year. It's like, if I can make $500-600 a truck and, I can make $2,000 extra month, and I'm doing my math in my head. I was like, that's over $20,000 a year. I was like, my God, if I can make more than $20,000, that'd be amazing. And then my first client came in and they asked for 20 trucks. And I didn't even have 20 trucks. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, think about a 53-foot truck. It doesn't even, a semi and then an 8-foot banner, and then you have to get 2 of those per truck. Like, where do you put them? Where's the warehouse? How do you pick them up? Where do you print them? Like, it was all like throwing myself into the fire. And this entrepreneurial spirit, like, at least I was doing it while I was working full time at the beginning.
Right.
And I just didn't know if it was going to work out or not. Yeah. And then just the way the universe worked is that I no longer was, working at the company. And so I was at crossroads. I either work another job, which I was very qualified and I could probably make $120,000, or I bet on myself and I go all into this InMotion project. And I went all in and then I bought an office. I rented an office for 6 months in downtown LA, just beautiful place, new building. And 2 weeks later, the world shuts down because it's COVID time. And that's how I started.
So you were an employee for a long time?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've only been an entrepreneur for what, 4 years, 5 years?
Of this business, of InMotion for 5 years.
I mean, like,
forever.
But you were an employee too.
Yes.
See, when
I actually drove Uber too, but I had a salary job.
Okay.
And I rode that paletero card on the weekends in Santa Monica, and I built it up with like speakers and everything, and I had music, and people would come in, and it'd be weird that I don't look like the typical 60-year-old that's slinging water for $5. But I know I've been in Santa Monica and there's no waters there, So, you know, it was tough. That business tanked. It was very, very difficult.
How old were you when you came to America from Mexico?
16.
And you went to California?
I lived in San Diego and I learned English watching Seinfeld.
And then you where else have you lived?
San Diego. Then I moved to LA. I got a job offered by Pepsi and I was a field marketing manager with them. And really my job was to go to different music festivals. And this is how the world, we had a Pepsi truck that you'd push a button and like the truck would like open up and there'd be like a DJ booth in there and like TVs would pop up and I basically would be a stage. The door was a stage onto it. So we would go to music festivals and it was a rolling music festival truck. And then from there on, I was like, it just kept going. And as a matter of fact, like that's how like we would sling away Pepsis out of these paletero carts. And that's how I got the idea. A year later, I was like, I bet I can sell water just because people love the little paletero carts.
Yeah, that's funny.
It was like all my life. Now that I think about like where I am, it's something that I learned that at that time, I didn't think it was important. Like I never thought like, I'm going to push this paletero, but you know, 3 years down the road, you know, I'm going to be a millionaire.
But they say there's always, if you have an open mind, no matter who you talk to, you can learn something from them.
Absolutely.
If you keep your mind open and you listen like, hey, janitor, like, you know, whatever it is, you know, keep an open mind, you can learn something from them. So is your business now, like, what's your main business? You digital marketing?
So In Motion Media Group has now split into like 3 verticals. The number one and still the most, you know, lucrative for our business is the mobile billboards, the trucks. And that's because big corporate brands like to sponsor trucks, right? There's just not enough billboards out there. So the mobile billboard is amazing. But we also have a lot of personal injury law firms that advertise with the trucks, especially if they're coming up because they can't compete with the guys with the big budgets. So if you're a smaller law firm and you can't compete with the Morgans and Morgans of the world, there's not enough billboards, but there's millions of trucks.
Are they dedicated trucks?
Yes, that's actually the correct word. The dedicated lanes, which means I already know where they're going to be going. So if somebody,
but are they trucks sorry to interrupt, I want to understand. Are they trucks carrying like cargo?
Yes, they're carrying.
They're carrying like an independent load for some other completely unrelated reason. Completely.
This is why I'm the Uber of advertising.
And then you get the exposure on the outside.
I just match them, and the trucks are already driving around. They get the exposure. They can go behind gated communities, which you would never be able to otherwise advertise.
Yeah, there's never a billboard.
There's like a little loophole, right? You can go into expensive markets. I live in an area in Las Vegas called Summerlin where there's no billboards allowed. The city doesn't allow it. Yeah. But my trucks are always there at the Whole Foods,
it's funny that
the
you bring
Trader
that
Joe's.
Up. In my neighborhood where I live, you're not allowed to have a logo on your car.
See? But you could have my trucks.
But your trucks could still come in and service my house. 100%. But they do that. You wouldn't, if you lived in my neighborhood, you can't park your work truck with a logo on it.
Correct.
It's pretty funny. Crazy. I'm like, man, and it's pretty wild. So
the trucks are the main part of the business. Now we do digital marketing as well. So, you know, we help with Google, with ad spend, with different things. And recently, you know, starting a year ago, I got really good at social media. So we started a different vertical of helping brands grow in social media. And what differentiates us between us and maybe another person is that we put out the strategy, but we also help you with the filming. We obviously have the editors that can create the content, but I also put on the agreement what my guarantee is. Like, we evaluate your social media for the last 3 months, and then we go, okay, based on your number of views, your number of likes, your followers, you know, I believe that I can take you from here to here. And I put it under the contract. And if we don't meet those numbers, I'll continue doing the services for free. And we've never failed.
I have an idea. I think we have to talk about it off the air, but I think you have to. It's 5:33.
I got a plane to catch.
What time is your flight?
7:30 or something like that.
So, did you already check your bags?
Well, we had to.
Okay, so that's good. So you just have to show up and clear security.
Correct. Okay. And drive back or whatever. You get an Uber back, whatever that's called.
Yeah, you're probably fine, but you don't want to dilly-dally too much. So, do you have another trip to Miami planned?
Yeah, I'm coming back in January.
For NTLA, is it?
Yeah, NTLA, yeah.
Sick.
Lawyer conference, which is the very first lawyer conference that I attended over 3 years ago. I guess.
In South Beach, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I met a lawyer, or it worked out, and then months later, I came back and we won the award for the best outdoor ad in the country. I didn't even know. I just took a hand, made a.
Oh yeah, I think I saw a video about that.
Yeah, somebody.
There's a marketing like a company that does. They look at all the ads and they decide which one they like the best.
It's not a marketing agency. They actually grab 100 random people, and they show them the ads, and they only ask them one question: if you were to hire a law firm based on the ad,
which one?
Who would it be?
Wow!
And it's completely unbiased. And we won, and I get a call. I live in Las Vegas, and they're like,
"See that video?
I'm in Miami. You've been nominated for the top 5, law firm awards in the country." And I was like, "What?" Even the law firm that I did it for, they didn't want to come with me. They're like, "We're not gonna win." Like, and sure enough, I'm in the very back of the room, and we get called, and I win.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. So, I think I think you got to go. So.
I gotta get going. But
right,
we'll talk some more.
We'll cut it off. Thank you, brother.
Yeah. Do you want to do intros?
Sure. Did you leave it running then? I guess.
Do you want to do the poor lawyer? I mean, did you want to?
Yeah. This is Miami Lawyer Daddy, and this is Daddy Media, and today we are joined by a very interesting marketing guru and lifelong entrepreneur, Chava Mercado. Thanks for coming by, Chava.
Appreciate it. As I'd like to say, Chava's the name. Insta Chava is the game. There you go.
Sick. Amazing.
Cool, brother.
Yeah, I think we need to.
Back in January. I think Amanda actually. I might be filming again with her there. What else? Really, really cool. I'm really impressed with this whole place, man.